Inside Thursday night, how's it going? Alright, strip back, good crack, multi-trade podcast. Share the knowledge you know, help to make our sector grow. Everybody's learning from experts and the journeyman. Insights.
And we're back. Insight, the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robust Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company, and in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear. I'm Stephen Buckley, and it's hard to believe that we've made it here already. Season 7, episode 10, and I'm flying solo on this one, unfortunately. Keith couldn't make it in for this one, but we do have a very special guest joining us in the studio, the one and only Danielle Tutty from Rathmines Glass is coming in to share her story, her journey, and everything in between with us. So really looking forward to getting into it. A perfect way to wrap up the season. So let's get into it. This is Insight, the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robust Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company.
And also brought to you in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear.
We're good to go.
We're good to go.
Going to bring out a joke at the start actually about I thought there was going to be a bloke coming to this.
Were there none of the lads available? Do you know when I go into cafes and all, we're going around to wear jumpers and that on, and people say that all the time. It's brilliant. People say to us, cafes and petrol stations and all, I talked to one of the lads.
Yeah, that seems to be a common thing actually, because it's something that when we've had, say, apprentices on here like that are girls, and they've come on, I think like Lena, Katrine,
and
everything else. It's just they have this perception of, am I only being even asked on here because I'm a girl? You know what I mean? That there's a bigger concept of you're not being asked onto something because of the skills that you have, or the message that you're sharing, and is it because just because we're getting a female on, there's female in the trays? Are we trying to piggyback off that? You know what I mean? Which I think it's mad.
Kind of.
A little bit. Yeah, no, a little bit. But at the same time, it's mad to think that, a fella who we've asked on would never have to think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
not a thing.
It's not a thing, but there's different aspects to any type of girl or woman that's in any type of industry that's working around men or construction or any type of installation, where they might have this concept in the back of their mind that I have to somewhat prove myself to be as good as, say, your previous guest who was in the same position or in the same role. And we're trying to send a message back to them no, you don't have to be like that at all, like what you said,
Yeah, I think a lot of that happens when you're a younger female. I do think when you're around, I'm 42, and you do get to a stage where you're quite sure of yourself. You've gone past the doubting yourself and walking onto a site and getting that kind of, I was on a site today. I walked into a lady's bathroom today, and I'd been with her last week, and I got the go ahead for the job, and she said, can you come back? The lads have done all the work. I measured a mirror over her sink. So I walk in, and some of the lads are like, Rathmines Glass, where is it? None of the lads. So we're having a bit of laugh about the ad. And so I go into the bathroom, and they're working in the room beside me. So one of the guys came in behind me. This is live today. And he said, are you all right there? We need it over the sink. I said, yeah, no problem. Just waiting on orders to come in. And there's a cutout fan in the corner. So it is a bit tricky because they want the fan coming over and everything else. So I didn't have a ladder, because when I looked at it originally, she didn't want the cutout.
Right.
So I didn't need that height. I'm 5'3", so I need a ladder everywhere. So I just asked one of them, yeah, no bother. So got his little step ladder for me, but was like, here, I'll measure that for you. And people are just being kind, and it's not the lads were sound. We were having a great bit of banter, and he was really just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
But I have never, ever, ever seen that on a site where someone would walk in a tradie and another trade person would offer to measure a job for them, or this doesn't happen. Have you walked in and another a Tyler say to you, I don't worry about that. Do you want me to measure those lens for you?
I wish it happened.
Come here. And you know what? People are just in fairness, any of the lads that when it happens, which happens all the time, people are just trying to be sound.
Yeah.
It's
but how
not
they're
in a
brought
negative
up,
way.
you see, because they could have been brought up around sisters, or, you know, doing things with their mothers and all that. So I just think people have to have some bit of maybe a bit of a level gauge to understand that these men have probably done this for years and years and years. Absolutely. Outside of the job. So it just becomes
and
a natural.
And it is mannerly as well. Like, so there is an element where, come on, it will help you. But then when I said, no, I'm grand, thanks. So I had the letter. Then 4 of them proceeded to stand and watch me measure it.
Right, okay.
So I'm standing there. I'm like, this is not, it is normal. Unfortunately, it is normal.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually think to myself, just piss off because they're making me nervous. So there's this trail of nervous. Right. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had people stand and watch you measure a job?
Oh, I think like once you start doing a bit of work as a bloke, you'll see the other lads run in case they're asked to do something, you know.
Where I have an audience and it's kind of, where are you going to put the fan? Are you going to? I said, no, it's grand.
Yeah. It's just like I think in a good way, and I don't know, maybe Ireland are somewhat behind maybe England in this, like, because we've had English guests on and stuff like that, have been in the trades, plumbers, electricians, and they give similar stories as well, like where they've turned up at people's houses, like to do quotes and stuff, and they've, you know, given the story of, you know, they might have been waiting on somebody to come maybe as a babysitter or somebody who's, you know,
or cleaner,
something random, anything random, you know, and then they have to, you know, no, I'm actually the electrician, and, you know, you get the look, you know, and then we've spoke to certain guests on multiple occasions where they've seen, you know, progression within this, where I think the more active they're being online as well, like, and I think the more they're promoting it within the trades over there, and even in schools now to start, like, you know, that the likes of even our sponsors, like, you know, Snickers, and they're promoting on their social media a lot, like, you know, like say girls wearing the Snickers trousers and stuff like that, so it doesn't become a thing like where you will be surprised. I remember back when I was an apprentice, I think there was one girl in my training class. There was maybe 20 of us in the class. So that was the only girl that I seen throughout my whole apprenticeship.
Wow.
You know, and now it seems to be every second corner I walk around, there's a plumber or there's an electrician or there's somebody even doing carpentry, painters.
Yeah.
And it's all stems back to school. It all stems back to the trade being promoted, like within school, that they can do that, like, because, you know, you look back to when, you know, you say you were in secondary school
back in the day,
there's nobody coming in and saying,
to walk bare feet to school in the snow.
who's coming in and promoting that, you know, if college is not for you,
Never.
The trades are. Maybe it's hairdressing, you know, it's
Always,
pushed towards women, you know, like, or get into the likes of makeup or something like that, something with your hands that's a bit more creative.
Yeah.
It was never, you know, there's, you know, an electrical company down there taking on apprentices, maybe you should go down and try your hat in, you know.
Yeah, but it wasn't, I don't even know whether in school now, because I don't know anyone in secondary school, but I think it's more companies, and I also feel it's more, there's a lot more family businesses like our own where girls are being brought into it because that's what they do. That's what the family do. Like, it's not because they were introduced to it in school. It's not because they're being pushed in any, I don't know the secondary school setup, but I think a lot of our dads or our granddads are in the trade. So years ago, obviously back in the day, girls would do what their mom done, or like you said, go and do a course or whatever. Where now it's the dads. The dads are stepping up and saying, do you want to come with me on a Saturday? Like, come to work with me, because they're not ashamed to have their daughter on site with them. So it's a lot to do with that generation that are open to their daughters coming with them. It's not sitting on a Saturday morning, right, son, you coming to work. Yeah. It's right, love, you coming.
Yeah, and it's like we've mentioned on the podcast before, it's a different perspective on site as well. It's a different perspective in the van. It's a different mindset as well. Like,
even driving the van, it's so funny. Like, I get this. So we've got a couple of vans. They're always breaking down. Saga with vans at the moment, but we've a big transit, like long wheelbase, full glass rack on the side. So if I'm driving in around town or anything in that, and you're going to reverse into a spot, within seconds, there's someone to the front, because you pull into like a job or a site. So there's high vis and you're getting them to move the cones because they're keeping you a spot. And so they see you, and it's
like a plane coming in, is it? They're guiding you.
And it's like, stop. And like, you see people putting shovels down, and I actually love it. Yeah. I have to say, I don't see it as a negative. Everywhere I go, people try and help me. I never get lads saying to me, "That's my spot."
Yeah.
It's like, girl, move. Everyone move.
Yeah.
So I use it to my advantage.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like it's something that I think, yeah, there's a lot of negativity around.
I don't think
And
it's
I
a
just-
negative thing. I actually don't take offense in it.
Yeah.
And even though the ad,
But the negativity, any negativity that is out there is within the individual themselves. You know
million
what I mean?
percent.
And it only depends that if you're, I wouldn't say even thick-skinned, like, but if you're willing enough to know that it's their problem and it's not anything got to do with you, then you can just get on with your day.
Yeah.
Where, like, we've spoke about in the podcast, myself and Keith, like, many times about, like, boys or, teenagers who come out of school and go straight into the apprenticeships, and it's like a trial by fire. You go in and you get treated like crap. Like, we got treated like absolute muck during our apprenticeships, like two different stories. Like, but we were trying to compare it then to that. If a girl was to come into the same atmosphere, how scary it would be, like, if they were in that type of, because like that whole boys will be boys type of thing, like, sort of has to end at some stage. When they get into what you consider early adulthood, like, and it doesn't, and a lot of it does sort of transcend into the trade, like, and it sort of made me think that if that type of atmosphere was going on around sites or trades or businesses, what I sort of seen when I was going into it, that if my daughter, say, like, got to the age of 17, 18, I would be nervous, and I would be nervous about her going in. But talking on the podcast and obviously talking to yourself and talking to other people who are sort of promoting that it is getting better, sort of shines that light that it's the minority more than the majority of companies, which I think is a good thing to know.
And would you be nervous if your daughter wanted to join the army?
Only for the basis of where they could end up rather than her choice.
Because that is really male dominated as well, or the guards.
Yeah.
Or
I believe that, like, anybody can do any job, like, once they put their mind to it. But I think, if anybody's kids are joining the guards, or anybody's kids are joining the army, I think if you're a parent, you could be well sort of proud, like, I think as well, like, to know that your daughter could make it into that. And I think you'd well believe that they could. I think you'd be more nervous about the role that they're in. And I think that transcends between men and women.
Yeah.
I think, like, a mother would be nervous if their son was in the army.
I think I do wonder though, looking at trades and stuff like that, if this is going to be very controversial.
Okay.
I don't think, as a woman, as a mother, I had a daughter and two sons, physically, when it comes to glazing, for example, I don't think every woman would be able for it.
Yeah.
I don't think every man would be able for it physically. So my trade would be very physical. So there are limitations. It will be very, very different to, like, being a Sparks or that, because if you imagine, like, today, for example, colleague and I were lifting a big sheet of laminated safety glass from the rack to the bench. There's a physical part to that. And I'm small. I'm only 5'3", but through skill, I got there and everything else. But it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not that they wouldn't be able to, maybe being able to is the wrong thing to say, but we do have physical limits.
Yeah.
As women and as men, there is that physical limit, and
yeah.
that's the reality of it. Or you're up off a 6th floor and you're trying to maneuver, but that's the only limitation. But I've seen, like, as I said, I'm 5'3", so physical part can be worked on and everything else. But I do feel that might be what puts some girls off.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of women will come to me. So we have a stained glass studio in Rathmines. We've always done stained glass and we still draw by hand. And so I get a lot more females interested in that end of it.
Yeah.
It's less physical and everything else. I think women are nearly afraid to try the glazing because it is so physical.
You do the design of the stained glass yourselves?
Yeah, we do everything traditionally by hand, So we still hand draw, we still cut, we don't use computers, or not yet. We will have to eventually, probably, but at the moment, we do everything by hand.
Is there artistic skills needed for that role?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can teach so much. You can teach how to cut the glass. You can teach how to colour, you can teach that. But to create the designs, no, it has to be something that comes naturally. Like, I can't make stained glass.
Yeah.
Cannot. I thought I wanted to years ago when I was really young, because I thought it looked great standing at the bench and I seen the lads going out doing all the heavy work in the rain. I was like, man, I'm not into that. I'll stand here and do a bit of drawing.
Smart.
This is more me. But I just didn't have the patience.
Yeah.
or the skills. I just didn't. But what I do love to do is create the designs.
Yeah.
So when I work with clients and we work through different ideas, and Pinterest and all these stuff is fantastic now. So people come to us with everything they need.
Yeah.
Years ago, we used to have the old photo albums.
Right, yeah.
So, so back in the day, my granddad was a photographer. And so this is the family business kind of trait. So my dad started out in the 80s. He left the company he was working in and started his own little glazing company in a little laneway in Kenilworth Lane in Rathmines. And my granddad, who was a photographer, my granddad was a photographer for Boardfall. He was a very famous photographer, Paddy Tutty. He came in to give him a hand. So they had pagers. So my granddad would sit down the lane. There was nobody who'd pass. He always tells a story or told a story that you wouldn't see anyone all day. A woman and her dog, a man on a bike. We'd be waiting by the pager or by the phone for a job to come in. So that's how it all started. But my granddad, because he was a photographer, he took great pleasure as he got older in his retirement. We used to have to book a client. So we do a gorgeous stained glass job. But we'd have to ring the client and say, look, can we photograph that? My granddad is available in 2 weeks' time. So we used to have to do a list, which is on like now my lads just stand and take a photograph.
Phones,
My granddad have to go out, he'd check what way the house was facing, and he'd go and take the photographs when the light was coming in through the door so he could capture the stain. Like it was the full job,
proper,
full-time job on its own. So we used to have all these bound albums, and people would come in, couples would come in, and we'd spend 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday or whatever day to every picture, and they'd be looking, and that's how laboursome it was. And now my granddad actually passed away last year. It was a big loss to the family.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was the Don. Like he was the man who really taught us all how men should be. Real old school, and you know, he respected women, and never a drinker. He just wasn't. He was just all about his family and everything else. But a lot of women say, like, in roles like me that might be company owners and business owners and everything else, that I was raised by strong women. And I do have really strong women, like my mom and sister, like I do, but I feel like I was really raised by strong men. I really feel like strong men around me raised me, and you know, as well as the women, but very much so, like in my life, it was men that shaped me.
Is there remnants of his past through the photographs still left behind?
Oh, I still have it on most of the albums. Yeah.
Would there still be people able to pick from those albums?
Not so much. Everything's gone so digital. I've quoted, designed, created, and shipped off panels, and I've never met the clients. It's happening more and more now.
Yeah.
Thank God. Like our export is like we're beginning to export our stained glass. So we'd have some clients, say, from Dubai interested, or from the UK, or they might be opening an Irish bar in Germany.
Wow.
And they really want Irish, handmade. We done a big job actually for Etsy last year. They commissioned us to do their head office in town. Yeah, that was like 16 square meters of stained glass in their new head office. They sent over a film crew to film the process. Like our workshop in Rathmines is a shed.
Yeah.
It's a shed.
Yeah.
No bones. It's a shed at the back of a house. But we worked out it for nearly 30 years, and it's still where our home is today.
Has there been a pinch me moment doing that type of project, or has there been a bigger one? Sort of
in hindsight, it really was, because it was the first international job that I had to nearly be interviewed for. So the way they work it when they're opening up any new, they're huge, massive brand and company. So they reached out to every glazing company in Ireland, and I had to do like a video. I did a video call first with one guy, and then the next stage was like an online call, like a Google Teams. Is that what you call it? Because we never use stuff like that.
Yeah.
They said, you want to jump on a Google Teams? I'm Googling what's a
what
Google Teams. I'm like, what team are we watching?
Yeah.
So what is that? Some of my friends do them all day, but we don't. And I was like Googling what is a Google Teams. And so I was like, okay. And it was actually the day at Cheltenham. And me and the lads usually finished early at Cheltenham on the Friday. Little tradition, and we'll go and we'll have a couple of drinks and place a few bets. But they wanted to do it that afternoon. So I'd gone into the pub. I'd had a pint, and I was looking at at the time, and I was like, I have to go. This big like Etsy thing is happening. So I went out to my car, And I put it on the phone, and there was 3 reps, like executives, and interviewed me and had a good chat and just chatted to them. And then I got an email the next day to say we'd secured it, which was huge for us.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. It was, we're like, we're going to send a film crew over. They've made a documentary about the process because it's crafts and everything else. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it's mad to think that, I don't know if you get the mindset of you're capable of winning these type of projects. Like, you have to have that type of, guile within you, don't you? Like, to believe that, even though they're going to everyone in Ireland, like you said.
I didn't realise that till after.
Did you
actually.
not know?
No, it's only after they
put a
said
bit more
it.
pressure on it,
Yeah, I don't work well with pre-scripted stuff, as you know. Like, don't tell me. But I just felt, for me, it was a real transient time in the company as it was, and it's what I needed. Like, it's not that I doubted myself, but I will tell you, like, the whole story of my dad and my dad leaving the company, and that there's a whole story there. But I felt after that it was the tiny bit of little boost I needed to say, actually, do you know what? You really do know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not just winging it like you think you are. You've managed to secure this. Financially, it was a good job, but the amount of work I went into it, you look at these big jobs sometimes and they're great for clout.
Yeah.
But, you could do 10 emergencies in a weekend and earn more.
Yeah.
So financially, I wouldn't be retiring from it, but it was a good boost I needed at the time to actually say to myself, you do know what you're doing, don't you?
Then it opens doors as well.
They wouldn't let me share the footage.
No.
Yeah, still not happy about that. Yeah. So geopolitics took place, and they shut down basically anything that I could share.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they really wanted to know that where certain locations of their head office were being located, which was a bit of it, because the whole pull for that job was amazing documentary. The clout, like, they were going to put it on all their socials, and so in the end it didn't happen. But they're beautiful, and I am able to share our pictures and our little bit. So it was a cool job, but
nitty-gritty legalities take over everything, doesn't it? Ruins it all. What we do, like, with most of our guests, is give them a bit of an idea, like, share what type of childhood they had and growing up, and maybe what school life was like. But if you want to give us a bit of an idea of maybe coming out of school. And,
you want the truth?
Well, I think most people that come on don't have good things to say about school, but maybe...
No, I actually didn't mind school.
Yeah.
In secondary school, towards the end, I wasn't there very often. So I just...
Is that because of the family business?
No, because I just out, and I just, being a teenager, and I'd rock in, with no pencil case, barely a school bag.
Yeah. Would you have had in the back of your mind that, like, there's a family business there that I could potentially just fall into?
Do you know what? I've always... So my mum and dad broke up just before I was born. So it was always my normal. And my mum lived on the north side, and my dad lived in town, inner city town. So I lived with my mum mainly until I hit like 10, 11. And then I used to spend a lot of time with my dad, and I ended up nearly living with him. And so I'd always consider myself from the Liberty, because all my family, like, my dad was born in the shop in Kevin Street. He still lives in Kevin Street flats now. So I always see myself from the Liberties, but my mom's still on the north side. But as soon as I became a teenager, I wanted to be in town. I wanted to be, because Rathmines was so much closer to Kevin Street and that. So I've lived in Clontarf. I've lived everywhere, to be honest, and always between the two houses, back and forward. But my dad, as soon as I could give him a Wednesday evening or Friday evening, 6th class, first year, I'd be sitting handwriting invoices. Call up to his house, he'd make me a bit of dinner, and you'd go through the list of invoices. Then Saturdays you're in, school holidays you're in. I remember being probably around 11 or 12, close to our daughter's age, and my dad would leave me on a Saturday in the workshop on my own.
Unattended, yeah.
Oh, 1,000,000%. So terrified a customer would come in. Like, terrified.
Yeah.
What you say, your hands would be like sweating, answering the phones. And now when I look back, it was the best training in the whole world. Like, I know people, like my nieces and that well, one of them wouldn't even pick up a phone. They'd be like, "Who's ringing me?" Like, I don't talk. So it was good schooling, but my dad, Rathmines Glass was everything. And although I was his daughter, my brother served his time. My brother now was another glazing company, but he served his time with my dad. At a time, there was 12, 13 of us in the boom. We were doing every pub, every club.
Yeah.
Things were flying. Everything was flying. There was cash everywhere.
Yeah.
Just as the boom times.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of stepped into it. But I did go to college. I actually have a degree in journalism. Yeah.
Oh.
It's under a bed somewhere that I've never actually... I don't even know where my degree is. But I always felt, even though I worked really, really hard, summers, evenings, everything, in the office, out on jobs, when I was coming to go to secondary school or go to college, I loved writing. And I only discovered in third year that I'm completely dyslexic.
Right.
Like I got pulled aside and they did the assessment and that. So I'd really struggled in school. I didn't realise, my mum always used to say, you always have to work so hard. Your sister could just read something and she'd go in and get an A, but you work really hard.
Did you feel that you were working hard at the time?
No.
No.
Really, it was just the way it was. It's how I was. Like, to work a little harder. My memory wouldn't be great. Scatterbrain. I'm doing 10 things at once to this day.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier, but I remember, like, when they said that to me in third year, I was delighted. They done the assessment, got more time in my exams.
Yeah.
And I understood a little bit, but I still thought I wanted to be a journalist. And I wanted to just report. I wanted to story tell. I had a big interest in, like, what was happening in the world. And I always have had a big interest in that. So during those 3 years, I lived and worked in Malta, the Maltese Football Association. I love football. Yeah. Big Shamrock Rovers fan. Yeah. Family, granddad, dad, we're all massive Shamrock Rovers fans. So I got an opportunity to work in Malta. So between Rathmines Glass and college and travelling, I'd always go away and come back. Yeah. So I'd be in Thailand for the summer. I lived in Greece as well. And I'd always come back to Rathmines Glass. My dad having the business really gave me that freedom. So as soon as I'd step off a plane, right back into Rathmines Glass. I had loads of other jobs. I worked at shoe shops because I decided when I was 21 I wanted to buy a house by the time I was 24. Yeah, the goal. That was the goal. Yeah. So I used to work full-time at Rathmines Glass, and then on a Thursday, Friday and Sunday I'd work in a shoe shop when Dundrum Town Centre had only opened. And then I'd work in the Nice Court Hotel doing bar work Friday and Saturday night for a solid 3 years. And I did. I got my goal. I bought my house when I was 24. Not outright. But yeah. I've always given myself little goals. And that's when I can get laser focused and go for them.
I think it's a great point you made there, obviously, about having the business and then going and exploring your life. And there's a lot of people that might come out of school and put so much pressure on themselves that this is the career they need to get into. Yeah. And not actually figure things out. Like,
ridiculous to think that someone at 17 or 18 has an idea what they want to do.
I think that's what it is. It's just like you have to try things. And I
think you have to have a work ethic.
Yeah.
I really do think it comes down to getting out and trying everything. When I was 13, this is highly illegal now, but I won't mention the name of the place, but my aunt worked in a shop on Talbot Street. Yeah. And when I was 13, going into first year, they were looking for someone to come in 2 evenings a week, tidy the shelves, do all that. I may have been 12 going on 13, and she said it to me. Said it to my mum. My mum's always been really independent. She's had to be. So I've always seen a great work ethic from her and my dad. So I said, Mum, Liz is after saying they're looking for someone to come in. Get there. So I can get the bus from school on a Wednesday. Imagine a 13-year-old nowadays.
Yeah, route, like, yeah.
So I went in and worked there for months. Within a month, I was behind the deli. 13, serving at the time, Dublin, the boom. So there was builders everywhere, and Talbot Street was a different street than it is now.
It's the proper conduit street then, yeah.
And I remember the first sandwiches and rolls I made when I think back now. I thought I was being really generous, giving them loads of stuff. Yeah. So someone would say, like, a bit of tuna and things. So I was like hoofing it on.
All the money out the door.
And not only that, but, the sandwiches would be stuff on. I'd be trying to wrap them. And they knew I was a kid. Like, I looked my age.
Yeah, but that's probably a massive confidence builder in there, though, as well.
You got used to, look, I've always been around real dubs.
Yeah.
But my dad always had a couple of country lads and men, like Miley, who's retired years now, is from Sligo, but he was like my granddad in work growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was the banter with the customers coming in and out, and just always being around people and talking but working.
Yeah, and you're not getting that nowadays. Like, I was just saying similar to yourself, like as soon as you could possibly get into a job, like I worked in a clothes shop in Balbriggan.
Did you? Yeah.
Used to sell Jack and Jones stuff years ago, like, but like
Jack and
that.
Jones written on
Yeah. But that's it, like you'd have everybody coming in. So I'd be there the Friday evenings, Saturday evenings. And I still kept doing it. Even I started my apprenticeship and I still was going in and helping out on the Fridays and Saturdays and going in and helping out during the Christmas, rush and all that. But best thing ever I could have ever done, like, because, like, you're thrown in at the deep end, like you're saying, you could be behind the tills.
Customer comes up
customer
to
back, someone wants to return something, or they're asking for you to what's your opinion on what will go with this and all. And Jesus Christ, have lads going down to the pub like wearing absolute crap.
Brown and black and all. You're like, you're gorgeous.
But it's great because, like what you said, it's just the conversation aspect of it. It's getting in and
the face to
the
face.
regulars come in and they get to know you, and then you have that bit of banter and stuff and just confidence. Like,
and do you feel that came from working in retail and putting yourself out
I think
there?
I would have gone the opposite route because it can go quite the opposite fairly quick. I think if you don't get that, that's schooling. Like,
Absolutely.
it is, like, it's life.
Dealing with the public like that is
it's
the biggest schooling you
the
get.
hard, like, life schooling is getting out there and mixing with people. If you don't do that, like, it can go very sort of reclusive fairly quick, I think, if you don't do it. And I think you see a lot more now, and it's probably because of social media and all that as well. People don't actually sort of even interact with each other.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. It's all through, like,
There's people
apps.
having relationships online.
Yeah,
I've never met.
Crazy. Yeah.
My granddad and I were speaking about that a few years ago. As you can tell, big parts of my life. And I could go to him about anything. Tell him about the apps. Like, what do you mean? So I was showing him the apps and that. He would have been 80 odd at the time. He's like, hang on a minute. And Catfish used to come on. He would never watch it.
Yeah,
but,
in the background.
Yeah. So talking to him about it one time. I said, this thing Catfish. I'll show you. And I was showing him on the phone. What do you mean he's there? They've never met. How does she love him? And I was laughing. I was saying, that's
life now, yeah.
That's life. But hopefully people, hopefully there is a turn.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Stuff that just gets lost in generations. Like, and I know I sound like an outland now, but it
but
literally is that we've gone through it. Like, as a 37-year-old, every significant advancement of technology, like within the last 30 years, like we've gone through, like.
But I do feel that, like, you kids like me, and I am so conscious of when I send the kids to the shop, or there's a local shop in the corner, I give them cash.
Yeah.
They figure out the cost of everything. Like, my daughter buy and sell you. Like, she's a tenner. She's buying, like, she won't buy one ice cream. She'll buy, like, the family pack because it's almost cheaper than the one. Like, she has it sourced.
Figures it out, yeah.
And that's what I do. And I make them pick up the phone. And when they're in the office now, I'll even say to be, all you have to do is answer. Hello, Rathmines Glass.
Yeah.
Someone will be with you in a minute.
Yeah.
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 And slowly, so I do think we need to, as parents, because it's so easy for us to blame technology.
Yeah. Like,
I've made a personal choice to not give my kids mobile phones.
Yeah, so I'd be guilty of that now. Like, I have my daughter, I've got one of those kids Revolut cards, and I top that up, like, and it's so handy for her now. Just
and it is handy, absolutely.
You know?
And I'm not against them at all, but in schools they are saying kids can't do the maths now because they're just tapping, and for us, for convenience.
Yeah.
So
it's like evolution, isn't it? Like, eventually the brain will stop using what it's needed. Yeah.
Stephen, if you, like, at the end of the day,
put that pressure on me, Danielle. Jesus.
No, but at the end of the day, but it is up to
change
us.
The world. We have to change the world.
But we can.
I know. Yeah, it is. Like, it is something that, like, it can be so blasé, but at the same time, 20 years down the line, they're going to be blaming our generation.
I'm a massive advocate for keeping cash in the industry, for keeping cash. Like, I go on a Friday, like, if me and my friends go out for a meal, like that, Revolut.
Yeah.
And I'm the only, like, I'll have cash, and I'm like, right, what's it?
Yeah.
And it's just because I train myself every Friday. I done it to get a mortgage years ago.
Yeah.
I took out X amount on a Friday, so the bank didn't know how many coffees I bought a week.
Yeah.
So I started that years ago, and I kept it up. So on a Friday, now God knows which bank link. I'm not that organised, but I'll go out and I'll take out X amount.
Yeah.
So I always have cash on me.
Yeah.
And I just purposely feel that it's so important. It's hard. It's a pain. And don't get me, like, I tap during the week, and
but you can feel the weight of what you're spending as well.
When you're handing over that 50, 100%.
Yeah. And you know you've done it, where there's that check of the bank account, and at the end of the weekend, it's like, crap, like, how much have we spent?
Sometimes you swear, like, Apple Pay for everything. I do. It's like, pop, your tap. and you're not registering with you. That's what you're spending. But I think it's important for kids to know the value of that, and to, like, it's really difficult, like, not giving them like iPads and stuff like that. In my house, I just don't. And I am getting to an age now where most of the friends would have, or if I travel with them, we go on holidays, I'm on my own with them. So it is harder.
Yeah.
It is harder to kind of sort out play. What are they doing? Like, my daughter's too old for colouring books. I'm like, right, let's get her little music player where it's not like, it's a conscious decision I've made, and something I'm really passionate about because it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. One of my best friends has a company called Lebo, and she specialises in art and education. Yeah. But her main thing is to go into schools and discuss internet safety.
Yeah.
That's her job.
Yeah.
And she's got an excellent business. Yeah, it's really good. My kids adore Lisa. Lisa's like my creative friend who's just like the most warmest. Like, sometimes she'll have full dreads, other times she's got blue hair. She's amazing. And kids really warm to her. So she goes into schools, and she's gone into schools where there's 9-year-olds addicted to porn.
Yeah, well, believe it, yeah. I've heard the stories.
And parents are pulling their hair out, and they're allowing their kids to bring their phones in to the bedroom at night time. And, you know, and she told me years ago when the kids were new babies, she began all this training, and she's really kind of drummed it into me. And my kids now speak to Lisa about that, and she do art with them and stuff, and talk about, so we with your friends that have Snapchat and TikTok, and to be chatting away to her. But when she does the parents' talks, half the parents don't know.
They don't have a clue,
that their 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds have all these things.
My daughter would come in with, you know, stories of conversations that have been had, like, in groups, you know, in the schoolyard, like, and it's stuff that you would think is hardcore, you know, anime. And I'm like, holy shit, like,
it's good she's coming home and talking to you, though.
And I'm like, where, like what you're saying, where are the parents, like, and do they even know? Like, it seems like it's an extension of their arm, like, where, you know, and it's embedded in them now, like, where it's nearly a punishment to take it back from them, you know what I mean? And that's
one of the
hardest
most
parts.
Frustrating things for me. I'm going to sound like such a moan here, right? I'm actually quite a positive person, but this is something that really hits home with me. You know, when you're in a restaurant, cafe, play place, wherever you are, there's a family sitting down to have a meal, whatever. Mom, dad, or mom or dad, whoever's with them, are on the phones, and all the kids are on their phones. There's no conversation. Like, you see people walking through the park, and like, it's awesome. I see this, and it's awesome. And my kids are like animals running around climbing things. And you just see parents on their phones, and then their kids on their phones. And then no one's looking around, and no one's talking. Just that conversation, how was your day? Slagging each other. Like, it's just really sad. I actually find it really sad that because they're watching their parents, and everything's for an easy life. Kids is hard. You know, it's hard.
Like, I can understand the technology aspect of it to a point, especially like for, say, like kids like who have autism or ADHD, like, and they're looking for that stimulation.
1,000,000%.
There's definitely a point, but then there is a point of being able to also not fall into the trap of, like what you said, just doing it for the sake of it. You know, like, I think if they're watching, like you said, like, both parents eyes into the screens all the time, and I have been 100% guilty of it, because there's been times where I've sat in the house and I've been editing, and then I can edit on the phone also as well. So
that's
when I'm going around,
different, though. It's a little different.
It's a little, but at the same time, there's a point where you need to be off, because like, when you have your own kid come up to you and say, "You're always on your phone, Daddy," like, you know, it just gets you thinking. Then, oh shit, if they're noticing it, then, you know, it's not just something that I'm doing every now and again. So it makes me think, oh, you know, you do put it down, you're like, oh Jesus, like, you know, if an innocent child is able to cop it like that, it's definitely affecting them in a certain way. Then to think, well, sure, well, would I even go up and ask him to do something because he's on his phone, like, you know?
Yeah, and they're just seeing the back of the screen all the time.
So
look, I'm the same. I come home from work sometimes early if they're home from school, and my phone is ringing. So for me, it's like phone ringing. And sometimes they're like, you know, and I'm really good at switching off. Like, I can go on holidays, even though the businesses are busy and everything else. I'm really good at switching off.
Yeah,
that's really important. Yeah. I never want to look back and see my kids like adults, and I'm sitting with loads of money. Made all the money and I'm living. I think I've done everything, but I've missed all their childhood.
Yeah.
I've held back in business, actually. And I know I've expanded last year, which I'm sure we'll go into, but there's a lot of more stuff that has come my way in the last 2 or 3 years that would have taken me away from the home.
Yeah.
And I always say to myself, when they're older and when they don't want to have anything to do with me, which is happening sooner rather than later, that's when I can pursue that. And that's when I can go for that.
Yeah, you can come back to it again. Like
100%.
Yeah, there's a right time for everything. Like, and
as women in business, we're torn like with that.
Yeah. But that's it. It's a common thing that said if it's for you, it'll come. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you make those choices and it's not for the detriment of something else because you're still proud of yourself for making the choice that you made.
Yeah.
So it was the right choice. And if the business stays the way it is because of it, fine. Because, you know, there has to be, I think one of our previous guests said it, like you need to be in business, make money in order to give you and your family a good life. And when that sort of crosses over to you being in business just for the money and the family might be getting a good experience from it, but not a life. Yeah, it's not a good, like, you know, like sort of connection with you, then it's not, what kind of life is that, you know?
I do think as a woman in general, and I talk about this with my friends quite a lot. So I have a really eclectic mix of friends. So I've got friends that are professional sports people. I have friends that own businesses. I have friends that are writers. I have friends that are musicians, and I have a big eclectic mix. And they're strong women. Whatever, I'm just surrounded by these great strong women, and there's all this. To stay at home, to go to work. There's all this like you should do that. You should do that. You should breastfeed. You shouldn't breastfeed. There's all this that goes on top of everything else. And I know some women, like I am the happiest woman in the world going out to work. Don't ask me to stay at home all day, every day. I adore my kids, but I am happiest when I'm out working.
Yeah.
That is when I am so happy. I know some women who are happiest when they're in the home and they're there and they're present and they're there. And that works for them. And
you need a different stimulation.
There's this whole brigade of like, at the end of the day, your kids just need you to be happy. I am so happy. Go out to work, I come home, I'm ready to be mom.
Yeah.
I was home all day. Like, not that I got much paternity leave when you work for yourself.
Yeah.
Paternity leave. This is a funny story. This is a true story. So my dad, work always came first. And we used to travel together, go to gigs together. He's a musician, loved music, football. We were very close. And I was in labour. So I was in labour on my first daughter. And I called him the day before. And I was like, I'd only left work a couple of days. She came early. Dad, I think it's happening, you know. So the next day, it was happening. And I rang him in the morning. I rang my mum. And I was so excited. No idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought I was in labour.
Yeah.
Was not in labour. You know, at the start, it's your first time. So,
yeah.
So I rang him. Oh, it's early in the morning. It's definitely happening. Going in, the hospital said to come in. Like, she's coming and Jesus, great love. Jeez, that's best of luck. Let me know you get on. Half an hour later, we're on our way into the Hollis Street. My phone rings. My dad, are you in yet, love? Did you make it in and all? I said, no. Come here. Did you invoice Aircom? I said, what? He goes, because we used to do the contracts for Aircom. He goes, did you do all them invoices for Aircom now? Have you sent them across? Dad.
Yeah.
A little bit busy here.
Yeah.
Right. So am I sending? I was like, Dad, come on. And I hung up on him.
Yeah.
And that was his fault to a point at some time.
Will you be in tomorrow?
When are you back? Like, when's the baby out now? But like, maybe that's why I'm so the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, as in like, you have to switch off, be present for your family, because I was in labour and he was asking me voices were done. It's not that he didn't care. He adores me, he adores my kids. But work always came first.
You know, you take your eye off the ball, it can be detrimental to, you know, the business, you know. So you're trying to keep things moving. But at the same time, yeah, like I think
Well,
it's,
I was in lay. I
yeah,
was like,
I
you
think,
for real.
I think, you know, you have to have some sort of,
But that would sum him up for many years. Is, as you said, the business comes first. But my dad's always been lucky. He's always had a good team around him, and he's instilled that with me. Like, treat your staff well, and they'll stick with you. Like
Yeah.
I've a man, Phil, who's nearly 30 years with the company.
Yeah.
You know, I've had Sean, who only left last year to go out on his own, but he was like 25 years with.
And then they build themselves up and grow themselves within the company.
Yeah.
And you see them
grow
leave.
up,
Yeah. And then they have the ambition then to better themselves even again then on the foundations that they would have sort of built themselves up within Rathmines Glass, like, which is probably, it's tough to see them go, but at the same time, it must be sort of proud to see
a
lads.
certain age where they kind of want to do it. But you know one thing, I don't know whether you know this or not, glazing isn't classed as a trade.
Isn't that, no?
So I'm at the process of taking on apprentices at the moment.
Hey.
There's no funding, there's no set rate. There's glazing in itself is not seen as a trade.
Hey.
Which baffles me because every single home has glass. Like, glass is everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went a couple of years ago. I was just trying to advocate for that because I was saying, look, I want to bring apprentices on. I want to come up with a framework. There's no framework. There's no structure. You just get someone comes in, wing it.
Yeah.
They make tea and they do this and they do that. But I'm at the moment trying to come up with like a structure. So year 1, year 2, like, because there is no structure.
Yeah.
And it's not recognised. So there's no supports. There's no funding. You're kind of on your own for glazing.
You see a lot of it in the UK as well, like where you'll have independent training facilities set up initially, and they will do in-house training themselves and they provide their own certificates. Eventually then over time then it becomes certifiable, and then other like training providers get on board because they see the concept in work. So that's something that could possibly be done. Or would you have the time or money to even do it?
If anyone would like to do that. But I feel it's quite dangerous glazing as well. Like, so I just feel because the stained glass workers stained glass isn't seen as a trade.
Yeah.
It's not even on the recognised craft, which baffles me. Like, it baffles me that it's not. But a framework would be welcome, and I think it would entice more people to maybe come into it if there was supports financial, because a lot of companies that I speak to that would be of my size, I'd be a small glazing company, but they can't bring on apprentices because they can't really afford them.
Yeah, like what you said, the artistic side to it, but the specific skills that are needed to do the work, like deserves. Like you said, a framework. The support to go with it. Because like what you said, the amount of individuals that are coming out of school and college that might have the proper skills to get into that industry, but they're not getting into it, like you said, because the financial aspect of it is just not there for them right now.
It's very rewarding because every day is different and it can be quite quick. Like, there are some glazers that might be on a site and they're fitting 400 mirrors and they're there for 3 weeks. Like, years ago, we'd glaze whole houses. Single glaze, putty glazing. We still actually putty glaze, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And you'd be on a site for weeks and weeks on end, not me, but the older lads. But that's kind of gone now.
Yeah. Because
they're all coming in pre-made, pre-packed. They're all Scandinavian frames that come from Europe. So that kind of where you're on one site for 6 months at a time. It's gone with the glazing.
Yeah. Do you see like any of it, like what you're doing now? Do you see it progressing as the years go on, or do you see it sort of maybe becoming more niche in regards to the glaze? Like what you mentioned there, some of the old school stuff that you get people reaching out to you for. Is that becoming more common now as people are looking for more nostalgic looks in their houses, or is it more still modern? It says modern still like the
Great
popular
question. I've seen a big turn in the last 2 or 3 years with stained glass. We've always been busy. We used to have 3 staff full time doing stained glass, but younger people buying houses now are taking the frosted glass out of their doors and they're putting stained glass in. It's trying to get people to see the value. So someone can come in to me and they'll show me design. They like to give me the size, and I could say €450, €500, whatever the panel is.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. So years ago, I'd be too expensive for. The last like number of years, like our price is our price.
Yeah.
like you go in and buy a telly, you know, and it lasts you 5 years, you're delighted. This is going to be in
You
the door
get to
for
look at
100
it, you get to
years.
see like art.
But not only that, when they come in and see the process then.
Yeah.
So when we decide to design, it's drawn to scale by hand. Basically, like the mathematics in that alone to get every single piece. Then every individual piece of glass is cut. So the different colours, the different shapes, it all goes down on the paper like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
But then it has to be leaded. So the drawing could take half a day. Cutting of the glass can take a full day. And then it could be 2 days between cementing it, cleaning it, the whole process. But afterwards, people are usually like, oh, okay, I see the value, but straight off, not always.
It's great to be able to see that still being sort of utilised as an Irish company, like within Ireland and abroad, like you said.
We're trying to, that's like another, I can't even think about that for another year. I'm even getting inquiries in. I'm like, I just wait. My mind can only process so much at a time. But it is exciting because I love stained glass and it's something I'm really passionate about. And like, I love with the glazing, we're very, very lucky that we've got a big name in the fitness industry. So any new gyms, Pilates studios, like we're usually the first. I get really offended when I see a gym opening up and they didn't ring me for their mirrors. Imagine the neck of me like what do you mean there's
Instagram there
what do you mean there's a new gym and I didn't get a call? But we're very lucky. Word of mouth, reputation. As I said, we're not the biggest company. There's 6 of us.
Yeah.
We're not, but
is that something that you've utilised now since, say, taking over from your father, that you have a bit of an idea of how social media works as well?
Definitely. Yeah.
And how you can sort of harness that?
Definitely. It's kind of necessary now. And I think that's why we have a little bit of an edge on a lot of our competitors who pay companies maybe to do their social media. So I do the social media and I just do what I think. There's no like strategy whatsoever. There's no plan. Don't tend to do that in life in general. So their social media reflects that. But it's real and it's us and it's what we're doing. And it's not going to be catalogued. Like the pictures aren't going to be perfect. It's not my granda taking them. So it's just like on the phone and it's just real. And I think that's what, again, the ad brought that on a lot. Like advertising with Radio Nova has been a massive change, like game changer for us. It's our demographic. People are listening to the breakfast show in the morning. PJ done the ad with me. He's a Bose fan, but we don't hold that. But he was sound and he done it with me. And that has kind of brought us on as well.
That's the one where they're asking for the guys.
Yeah, can I one of the lads? Can I talk to one of the lads? And there's a boss man there and all that. And that was very impromptu. Like we had a bit of a loose idea, but like that again has brought the company on. And like when we see like my niece Ali works for me in the office, and we all wear the Rathmines Glass gear, but you're in a cafe or in a petrol station, and it's like, I talked to one of the lads, and it's good crack. Yeah. And that's what I like. It's not forced. I don't want to ever be too serious.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing brain surgery. We're doing what we're doing. We're fitting mirrors. We're repairing your windows. We're fitting.
It shows that these are approachable as well. Like, you know what I mean?
We're just normal. Like everyone's just like everyone.
It's great.
Else.
Like, because I could turn on Instagram and it could be, you know, just yourself grabbing a coffee in the morning, walking down the street, heading to one of the jobs.
Right.
You're seeing, you know, like you're saying, like live sort of minute by minute content of what you're doing in your day to day. I think people appreciate that more because you can see a lot of the, like you said, like the sugar coated videos where it's all, you know, pristine and edited and it's all the good stuff. And, you know, you're showing people like, you know, you're in the trenches, like with the lads, like as well. Like, you know what I mean? You're there. You have
They'd have other ideas about what I'm doing. They're like, you're only here to take photos. Shut up.
There's the social media girl.
Yeah, they're like, hang on till I just hold this mirror. I go in and get the work.
But you're making the effort. Like there's many companies there that we'd see on Instagram, and they'll have the Instagram page just to have it, but they won't go the extra bit to put somebody in front of it just to go out and promote themselves. And just putting yourself in front of the camera is a massive thing to do. Like it's a massive choice to make, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do kind of, I never question or never double take with that, because if I do, I won't do it. That kind of thing. And I just think it's, you overthink it too. You just have to roll with it. Like, and I don't generally, like, I know some people that would have massive followings on a personal level and in their jobs and in their professions. And some people are so nasty, like, for no reason, and it does get them down. I know they see the comments, but like generally we just get great feedback and we get some dodgy Google reviews sometimes, like that aren't even customers, but by putting ourselves out there, you are kind of opening yourself up a little bit. And even when I share the dog or, little snippets into your own life, but I just feel it's worked in our favour, and it's never been the plan.
Yeah.
I never sat down and said, right, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to post at this time. And then, like, obviously, evening time, yourself.
There's science behind it, yeah.
There is a science behind it, but I feel if you bog yourself down too much, if you try and look too polished.
Yeah, I'm the same. Somebody said to me, why don't you post between 7 and 9? I said, I'll just post when I want to post.
Or when you have time.
When I have time to post. But you can schedule. I was like, that's even,
would you not schedule or anything? Now, I don't do that.
I do a bit of it now because I didn't realise you could do it for a long time until somebody pointed it out to me. And now it's a godsend now. But I get very excited about some of the content that I do.
Okay.
Right. And for me, when I spend so much time editing content and I put it and I like it, hitting the publish button makes me feel good. It's like my dopamine hit or something.
Right, okay.
So even if nobody's even up at 1 o'clock in the morning, if I publish it, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
So for me, put a time limit on it and then go to sleep. Like,
it's not natural for you.
It's not natural for me because I know that it's coming out eventually. Like, so I just need to get over that somehow, like, and get sort of used to putting it on
structures and stuff. Yeah, I know.
That's my next step. And I think that could be, a game changer for the podcast as well, is getting to know the science behind because I have been doing it the last 2 episodes and it has had a positive effect on followers and stuff.
Because it is a science, really, if you want to be really serious about it. But your page has grown considerably over the last while.
Yeah, it's just it's a matter of not worrying too much about it growing. There is a thing where I think if it's growing and it's growing at a slow pace and we're doing something that we enjoy and we're getting something out of it ourselves, like in the basis that I can roll up here, myself and Keith, every Thursday and get to talk to my cousin and have a couple of drinks. I might not have done that if we weren't doing the podcast. And as men, that's something that's crazy because we do sort of not put much attention into meeting each other as much as girls do. Like, like I could look at other friends of mine, like, and I spoke to him in a year, and I can meet up with him now, and we could sort of, that spark straight away comes back straight away. But it's terrible to think that as men we do that, like, you know what I mean? So as a podcast,
that's what it is.
Always over that, like, so as a thing, when myself and Keith mention it all the time, it's great that we're doing this, like, and he sees it as an escape. I see it as like escape from his business in a sense that, like, he can take, he can
just to clear that
up. Thursday evening he can just put like what you mentioned before, the phone goes down, the phone goes on do not disturb, and he knows that as soon as he's finished and he turns it back on again, it's ringing, there's missed calls, there's messages,
you have to
what's
face
happening
it
tomorrow,
eventually,
it's facing eventually. But for those 2 to 3 hours or whatever it is that he's here, it's just something that he can just enjoy,
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, I just think, like, what you mentioned there, obviously with the social media aspect of it, like, I see, like, the likes of, say, people emphasizing, influencers and getting people to post their stuff and all that, like, and to say, oh, well, sure, they're only doing that because, like, it's an influencer and they must have got it for free or they must have done this or whatever. And I said, well, fine, like, because that's all business.
Advertising.
That's all advertising, you know what I mean? And I think anybody who's not doing that, like, needs to try and find a way to do that, like, because they need to have some sort of budget to allow themselves to grow, because that's where it is now. It's all in people's hands. It's all TikTok and Instagram and everything. Like, the radio ads are brilliant, like, because
for our customers. Like, I really researched over because I listen to them myself in the morning. I love the breakfast shows. I listen to it every day. Every shop I go into, it's on. Every site I go into, it's on. Yeah. Everyone who are my customers are listening to it. Actually, quite interesting about our Instagram. We don't have a massive following. We've a healthy following, but I know what I really like about it. They're all customers. Yeah. Or they're all, like, really invested in Rathmines Glass. They've either used us, recommend us. I don't know what we're at. We're over 6,000 now, but they are actual people who I've done work in their houses, their businesses. And you know what's really exciting? In the last couple of years that's happened since I've kind of I'm a little bit more regular, just done what I wanted to do on. I share what I share, make my little videos, put them out there. We've had some really big content creators and professional influencers have come into slid into my DMs. For real. Slid into my DMs, male and female. But that is amazing for me. Like to wake up in the morning and see someone that's over 250,000 followers DM me because I've come recommended.
Yeah.
And because I'd wake up and they'd see someone is after following you, like, wow. And then you get people in that circle and in the business world that they might only have 100 followers, but they might own 25 restaurants.
Yeah.
And
because you haven't built a fickle page like that's just out of I'm boasting about. So you've built a community.
A big time, and they're actually coming to us because some people look at some people that we've collaborated with recently, and every single one of them have come to us.
Greatly,
and a lot of them have paid. I've looked after them on cost, but in fact, one of them overpaid me recently because she was just so happy, and she didn't have to. She's a massive businesswoman and a big presence online. She didn't. I just looked at my bank and she'd overpaid me. She was like, I'm just so happy. It's amazing to get to that stage. And I remember years ago when I was just really new to Instagram and trying to share Courtney Style Smith. Don't know if you know Courtney.
Yeah.
She was doing work in her house. This was before COVID, before everything. Watching her page and I loved her style. I love fashion and I don't get to wear it much, but I love all that. I'm quite girly when I want to be. And she was looking for something in her house at the time. So I bit the bullet and I messaged her. I was like, hi, I'm a business woman, I have a glazing company. You're looking for mirrors. If you'd like to reach out, I'd love to look after you. It was the first ever kind of interaction or anything I've ever had with anyone like that. And she messaged back within about 10 minutes. She was so nice. She was like, absolutely love that you do this. When can you come out? Like, amazing. And she employed us. She would not let me give her any kind of discount. She insisted on like that, paying what the quote was. She got me to do her gym. She got me to do, and we've actually since gone and adjusted stuff since kids came along. So we moved the antique mirror onto the wall and all that. And she was the first person, thank you, Courtney, who supported me. Yeah. And since then, that's what the catalyst was she had said it to someone in a fashion scene and they said it to a designer who said it to Thing, who was opening a studio. Like, we now do a lot of the work in Dundrum Town Centre and for all these big brands because we've created and we've built these relationships with people, and it means so much to me. Like, my clients, like, they'll get me.
I was going to say that to you. Does that mean more to you than
absolutely,
just a random
absolutely
numbers going up on Instagram? It's obviously, you've actually gone in. Your work speaks for itself.
You can buy followers.
Yeah.
I could go online now and wake up tomorrow and have 20,000 followers. Yeah. Because it's a numbers game. Like, people think when you look at that. So what's that feeding? My ego. Any advice I can give to a man, woman, teenager, or anyone who's thinking about going out in business. So even though Rathmines Glass is a family business, I've been involved in it forever and gone through lots of transitions and changes and moving with the times. And one thing that is just essential and before everything else, but obviously your staff, but also customer relations. Telling the truth. Yeah. Being honest. Your stuff isn't ready. Like, I'm not going to be there at 10 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not going to be there tomorrow. And we started a new strategy in the last year. Instead of giving clients like a time, I'll be there at my dad. Oh my God. He used to tell 10 people that he was going to be there at 9 o'clock the next morning.
The helicopter.
Because my dad's the best personality. He got so much business in from just his personality, and he'd be like, I'll see you at 9 in the morning. And then he'd say it to me. So I'd be in the office at 9 o'clock in the morning and I'd have 10 people ring me. Yeah. Where is he? Pat said he'd be here at, and I'd be like, Pat's in Galway. Like, telling people, and I'd be stressed out to bits, lying to everybody, white lies to everybody. Oh no, the van broke down. I'd be sweating. Yeah. So now we do it like we'd be there between 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2. Yeah. So trying to just not let people down. By the way, we are expanding, and I am on the lookout for a foreman at the moment. Someone who can take over the organising of the jobs. And I'm looking for new apprentices because I see it like your business shouldn't have a short life cycle, as you know, in trades. Yeah. If you're not training, you're not growing.
Yeah. Continuously evolving as well, yeah.
It has to be. Like, I look at the business, I look at the staff I have now. I'm always thinking, right, in 5 years' time, if my stained glass worker decides to retire, which is the age to retire or close to, he's learned those skills over 40 years. Another good tip. Not that I don't know whether I can give that many good tips, but just thinking out loud. I feel to be a good business owner, is always to get stuck in, obviously, is to get your hands dirty, is to be involved, is to put yourself up there. Like if there's night jobs, I'm there. Not always, but I'm there. If the kids aren't home, like I'm there. And it's to really like never forget, really. You know, you might have an office upstairs, but you know, if someone needs glass lifting or if I can do it, it's to always keep yourself a little bit grounded like that and always do that. But also get good at delegating. I am not good at office work. So that's what I got Ali in for. Price and email. I need to get someone in to do that. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at the daily organising of jobs. So I now need a foreman to take that from me. Because I'm weak at loads of things.
But that's a strength of knowing your weakness.
100%. You have to. Yeah, I can tell you out straight stuff I am terrible at. Like, Ali just have to say to me, right, focus. Like, you're in the middle of doing that invoice and now you're out cutting a piece of glass. Like, rein it in. I love getting a call about a job, going out, meeting people. Could be first time meeting them, could be I've done all their businesses, having the chats, measuring it all up, pricing it, and getting it across the line.
Yeah.
That's what I adore to do. We began to manufacture slim glazed double glazed units. I was importing them in. Not important. God, if I say import for the north of Ireland, I'd be in big trouble. But they are a registered English company. So I was, and there was a big market for them. So people that have single glaze that want to put a really thin double glazed unit in. And we were just doing so much of it, and I was just spending so much. I was like, surely we can do this ourselves. Like, there's no law to say that we can't. Like, they're not a trademarked product. Loads of companies in the UK make them, but there's over 2,000 units going from north of Ireland down south every week. Like, why is nobody making these? I know now because they're tedious, because we're doing them 2 years. I'm like, right, So I started, I took another workshop in Rathmines across the road, big shed like our own, and began making them. One of my staff, Christy, began making them for me. He's a glazer, but he spent a year in there, tedious. It's a little thin bar because it's only 4 mil. The heritage bar. So you have 4 mil glass. So it's the double glazed units, 12 mil thick, real tedious. So I'd gone to the UK, done loads of training, went to the suppliers, learned, spent a day over there working in a company that makes them with a hand, could never master it. It's like a hand tool, you could never master it. So you got stuck in for the year. There's some nights, like sealing them, putting the air in them, have to have an argon gas, really tedious. So that really took off, you know, from the little shed. So then I was saying, I was outsourcing all my double glazed units. Say you got a smash unit in your house, rang me, I got measure, I'd order that from someone. Like I was outsourcing our mirrors. So if I got an order for mirrors, I'd have to order that from another company. So I started looking for premises to rent. The place came up in Robin Hood. Like, at the moment where we are, we're right in the flats in Rathmines Avenue. We're there for 30 years. We know absolutely everybody, but we've got parking outside, but there's no parking. Even getting a skip, we used to have to come once every 2 months, and a skip would pull up for the day, and we'd empty all our own glass in. Like the logistics, but we made it work. But I was like, no, be grand. Rathmines Glass, Robin. Don't be worrying about it. Be grand. Everyone was like, she is again over mad ideas. But so I took on a big unit and did loads of research. Got lots of help from other glazing companies, and that's another thing. I work quite closely with other glazing companies. Collaboration for me and working together is very important. I think everyone should do that, and not all companies, a lot of them. And so I set up a whole setup, and now we're manufacturing all our own double glazed units, so we can actually offer same day double glazed units, which is a game changer for us.
You're not sleeping on the business at all, really, are you? You're constantly looking.
I'm constantly looking, because if I see that we can do something, and you know, I think you have to be like that.
Not even just not even regards to the profit end of it. Like, you're looking.
I wouldn't have a clue about any of that.
You're seeing something that could potentially in Ireland, like,
it makes sense.
It makes sense, like, to be produced here.
Yeah,
which is something that I think is great, like, because like you're looking from a homeowner point of view, like, or even as a, you know, a client or a customer point of view, like, it's great to be able to know that there is a company within Ireland that you can go to and you can say that we produce that here in Ireland, in Dublin, and you're getting it here, which just, and obviously all the other aspects of it then get taken out of the, you know, the imports, the transportation costs, everything like that.
Well, now
like,
there is, because obviously with Brexit and that, but I just like as well. So we measured, for example, we measured a unit this morning, brings back to the lads in the unit, and they can make that. So I said to a restaurant today, they had a smash window, double glazed unit during the night. Normally I'd be running, like ringing 4 or 5 companies can make for me today. Now for them, it's only a small unit. So they're not going to take a line of 200 units they have lined up. So we'd have to go on board it. We weren't given the service that we could. The emergency business is a massive part of our business. So all the fancy stuff and the fancy hotels, gorgeous homes, look wonderful. And they're great and they are a good part of our business. But the bread and butter of our business is smash up front. Yeah. Businesses have to have their window smashed. Like, that's actually the bread and butter of our business.
Maintenance is key. I always say that the key. Like, I work for maintenance. It's like, I'm with a maintenance company. It's like, I don't know what way you do it. Like, if you're going to do installs for companies, do you offer maintenance contracts or is
actually maintenance people would ring us. Like, they'd have us down as their glazers.
Yeah. So like, it's something that like maintenance is,
you delegate all day long.
It's constantly that, like, and it's people.
What glazing company do you use?
I think we probably have a few on the books actually.
Have a little chat, have a little chat about
after, that. But it's one of those things, and I say the key as well. Like, I've worked within companies or installation companies throughout the years that have also then moved into, you know, like maintenance contract, and at the end of it, like, so you'll get in, you'll do an install, but you make sure you always get that maintenance contract over at the end, like, and it's like emergency lighting testing, it's fire alarm testing, it's all the testing and it's all the maintenance aspect of it. Then you get your remedials then after that.
Your follow on work.
It's follow on that, and it keeps people busy as well through the year. When you go down through a bit of a lull period or a chance that you get lads constantly getting a bit of work in, like, because they've got PPMs to do or they've got checks to do or inspections to do. And I always say, like, it's never sleep on the maintenance aspect, or like what you said, like the damages and, you know, stuff like that, the follow-ups, like, because you can get in and do an install and walk away from it and get on to the next install, but eventually, like, you know, you have to be able to come in and actually provide aftercare as well, like, for these clients, because they're going to go looking for it for somebody, so why not you, like, you know?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. I just think it's something that, and you've posted it on your Instagram as well, like, where, you know, especially within Dublin.
I don't know what you're going to say here.
No, but damage, like, happens, like, to properties, and obviously, you know, there was the big riots there in Dublin where a lot of businesses were affected by it. There was a lot of shop fronts damaged through it, and you got involved with trying to help by not just raising awareness around it, like, but like trying to, like, actually help other shop owners, like, come back from the damage that was done. Like, if you'd like to let our listeners know a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've become famous for this, actually. And it started off as a very small gesture that just grew legs. And what happened is I'd woken up, I'd actually been really sick the night before, so I'd missed that Friday night of the live, everything. I was in bed, I really wasn't well. And
story that, you weren't out,
no, I wasn't. Wrecking shops. I was like, which ones are my clients? Make sure you get them. I'm like, don't lose that one. A lot of my clients do joke and say, you have lads around here. But yeah, so I woke up to this news, and 3 or 4 of my Temple Bar clients had phoned me, the bigger clients, and they were like, look, can you come in? Our shop front's completely gone. And I was like, the news. I was like, what the hell? Look, I was like, right, okay, I live in Portobello. So small little flex there. I couldn't afford to live in Portobello now. I bought it when everything crashed, so I couldn't afford to live there now. But so I actually straight away measuring tape. I always have a little bag around me, measuring tape, straight into town. Walked into town, went to the couple of people who called me, had a load of business cards. But I was passing a shop down the lane, and it's like a small little vintage shop, and it's been destroyed. It was other one around the corner. I just got chatting to the owner, was distraught she was, and I was like, what the hell? And she goes, it's open today, like, it's all front destroyed. And I said, don't worry about it. Gave her a card and that. I was like, look, don't worry about it. If you want us to come repair for you, like, at cost the glass, like, don't worry about it. Like I'm really, and then I was talking to the Indian, like kebab owners and the Turkish guys that I know across the bridge. And like we've worked for every nationality. Yeah, like our clients are so varied. And some of our oldest clients are like the Pakistani restaurant owners who've gone on to open ice cream shops. And, you know, and I was meeting these people and they were being targeted. And I was just like, so I was talking to one or two of them, and then my phone rang. There was a alternative Dublin had spotted me chatting to people in Temple Bar. He said, look, I'm doing some coverage. I never even heard of them. Can we come and talk to you? Like, yeah, okay. So he just arrived within a minute. I didn't have a chance. And if you see the video, you can tell him right away. I look back and so he stopped me. He said, what are your plans? I said, well, look, people need help. The city needs to open up. I said, so I'm willing to offer free glazing for anyone who's been affected by this. I'm disgusted with what went on. This is not us. This is not the Dublin I grew up in. This is not the Dublin I want to grow up in. As a business owner, we've always been a great business community in the city centre. So if anyone is, so this, he was interviewing me, I said, so if anyone is stuck, contact us. If you're a small business owner, I had a few chancers now from the bigger companies. So I was like, no, like if you're a small business owner and you've been affected by this, we'll just charge a cost. That's all. Whatever the glass cost.
The difference between them opening back up again.
It was. There was people in tears. Like there was business owners in tears. So did the interview in the middle of Parliament Street, I think it was, or somewhere in Temple Bar. So this guy really friendly said, thanks very much. Like, see you later. An hour or two passed and I was around measuring and just putting cards out and saying, like, just basically saying to people, look, we'll help you out. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm really sorry this has happened. And boom, they were after putting it on. I think it was TikTok. I'm not sure. It wasn't really active then. And boom, like,
fuck off.
Everyone was ringing me, you're doing free glazing. What are you doing? I was like, well, it's not really free. Like, we're charging for the glass.
Yeah.
So we spent the next 2 weeks.
The accountant was ringing you, like, what are you doing?
But we spent the next 2 weeks glazing for free.
Yeah.
Me and all my lads. And you know what? The response from my staff was incredible. Like, there was a specialist cafe in the corner of Parliament Street. It was destroyed. And the guys in there, it's a small business. They're really week to week. And my lads were so proud. They're going around like the Rathmines Glass jumpers on. People like, oh my God, you're the lads that are looking after the rides. Come in. They were giving us coffees. They were giving us the little cafes. They were giving us cakes, breakfast. And you know what? It was the most unintentional, best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
For the business, it turned out we got great. We got so much work in the future and people remembered it. But it was the best feel-good factor. I've met so many people who I now call friends, who we helped.
Yeah.
And they never forgot that. And they always recommended us. So it started off, it escalated. So we were working for a solid 2 weeks. But it was the best. We didn't get paid for it, but we did though.
We're like the Red Cross coming in.
Glazing Red Cross. No, but you know what? It was
something of that kind of gesture to that magnitude. Yes, like you said, like it has its benefits down the line.
Down the line,
which, you know, there's no harm in that either, you know what I mean? Because you've put yourself out there and you've actually put in some time and effort. But like I mentioned before, small businesses are the backbone of Dublin, you know what I mean? And for somebody who has had a business that's a family business that's been part of that backbone throughout the years, to come in and actually support everybody else, like, is great to see. Like, and I think if we don't have that, you know, then what do we have, like, as a country, as a capital, you know?
And it's a real liberties thing.
Yeah.
It's a real community thing. Like my nana and my granddad, and like that's what you did. You look after each other, and that's so important to me in everything that I do. You look after each other, you know. So we worked for nothing for 2 weeks. Like, so what? We got so much. I remember sitting in the cafe. Your man had given us the free breakfast. There's me and all my staff. No, there was me and the lads, and I was sitting around. Just a real poignant moment for me. And I remember looking around. They were chatting. They were in great form. Like, they were getting paid that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they were going above and beyond. There was a real pride. They were just real proud. And you kind of look around and you say, this is what it's all about. Pride in your company, pride in what you're doing, pride in helping people. And it's something I live by, actually. You
got a nice recognition then for 2025.
A crown.
But obviously you got to princess yourself up for the...
We handmade that.
Yeah, look, I seen the
crown,
video.
That was handmade, yeah.
Looked really good. But that was for the business Women of the Year awards.
It was. It was the
With
image. Yeah.
How was
It
that?
surprised me as well, actually. It was amazing.
Did you nominate? Did somebody nominate you, or were
Yeah.
you
So
put
how it
forward?
works? It's so you get nominated, and I had Core Build.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Core Build reached out to me on Instagram, and she said to me, "The Image Awards, Women in Business Awards, is coming up," and she'd won it the year before. Emma had won it the year before. There was a colleague who'd messaged me and said, "Look, we were talking. We really think you should go for this." So for me, Image magazine is what I browse on. It's gorgeous homes, gorgeous everything. And like she said, no, honestly, we weren't going to go for it, but she won it. And like they're really open to women in every business. It's not just beauty industry, it's about every industry. Yeah. She said, "I'm going to send you all the stuff. I can nominate you, but I'd like to put you forward. You'd be better off doing paperwork." But it was a week until it was deadline day. So I was like, "Oh, thanks so much," and went about my day. Didn't think about it. I mentioned it like to Ali in the office. She's just, "That's an amazing idea. Like, that's an amazing award." She was like, straight away. Oh my God. And I was like, it's a lot of work. Like, it's 20 pages. And
that 20 pages is about yourself.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's hard just for anybody to put out there,
Like, I love talking, but to sit down, writing for me, obviously, dyslexia makes no sense. Sitting there, I was thinking about it more and more. And then it was the day before deadline. And she messaged me again. She said, "It's deadline day tomorrow. I really think you should go for it." So I panicked last minute, Annie, as always. And I rang my friend. She lives in Dubai. And she's an amazing writer. So she's not a writer by trade, but I could tell her something and she's ChatGPT in person.
Yeah.
This would be like, I didn't even ChatGPT, didn't even think of that last year, but she's the human version of ChatGPT. Yeah. So I'd say something and she'd be able to. Yeah. I said, "Eva, she goes, you should go for it." "You should go for it." "God, yeah." I said, "I have all the videos." Like I had the Etsy video and that workout done. She said, "Leave it with me." She said, "Just give me a couple of voice messages, answer the question. They ask about where you come from, your dad, your family, and why you think you have the growth and progress." And I was just seeing all these words and I was like, no. So I sent it to her and within 3 hours, she'd done it all for me. Yeah, unreal. And she said, "You're going to win." That I'd be happy to just send this across the line. Yeah. Like, So sent it in and I got to the final and I got runner.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
Couldn't believe it. I went for the night out.
Yeah.
Rock. Me and all my friends came. Like, it was amazing. The support at the table. Yeah. It's really expensive, actually.
Most awards are.
Like, it was very expensive. So I was very grateful for my friends who all came because it was like really expensive. Yeah. And I just paid for my own ticket.
Did you as well as a nominee?
Yeah. So as a nominee and as a finalist, look, they're a business at the end.
Yeah.
Part of me was like, okay, but kind of was like, okay. So went on the night. We were having a great night. I had definitely drank far too much wine, like for that point, because I was there for the occasion.
Yeah. But the video now that you have up now looks like a great night. Like,
it was such a good night, and like it was a really good night with really strong people around me, and the speakers were incredible. Yeah. But I had really big names in my category, like family business of the year. Like, you're talking Rugstudy, you're talking household names. Yeah. Voya. I don't know if you're familiar with Voya, but you were like, So
I'm a person, I know names of, but I don't follow up on them.
An Irish company that specialises in like Irish seaweed skin care.
Yeah.
So they're massive. These are massive. Here was me, like 6 staff over in the corner.
Don't put yourself down. That's what I said. We always say that to our guests when we come on, is like, never underestimate yourself, because
I felt I deserved to be in the room for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm also quite a realist.
Yeah.
I'm competitive now. If I want to be competitive. Yeah. But I was just shocked. Is
it like, have you got imposter syndrome when it comes to it? Like, or did you just...
I did today, even coming here.
Yeah. I gauge that with you, that like you don't actually believe your potential. Do you find that with yourself? Because I feel like that you have so much potential. Like, even with the Image Awards, and I saw the video and the great night you had and being runner up, and myself and Keith, like, we've been runner up in awards as well for the podcast. Like, we'll talk to each other, we'll shake each other's hands, and we'll pump each other and say, "We did that. We got there, we done that. Fair play to you, well done." And Keith will always turn to me and he'll say, "Well done, well done." That's the first thing, is well done. And I'm the type that's similar to yourself, where I will talk it down. It's like what are you wearing? That sure, it's pennies,
Yeah.
It's that type of thing. It's like, and he's like, no, like it's time, it's effort. It's not one thing, one singular thing that you're here for. Like it's an accumulation of everything that you've done in your life to get you to that point. Like, and that can't be underestimated.
You should listen to your own advice then.
Should.
You should, because you have to biggen me up there. It's not that, I suppose for that particular awards, I was sitting beside tables with people that I always felt it was quite like glamorous, and so that's where the imposter part came. It wasn't that I haven't worked my ass off for a really long time. I haven't done all the I've done it all, and I've gone at my gut, and I've grown, and so for that end of it, I kind of deserve to be there, of course, but wasn't expecting to get runner up, to be honest.
So if you had a
really fell off the chair. I had no speech ready.
Yeah.
The girls kept
I was going to say, would
me,
you have been ready to stand up?
Well, sure, look, I can talk anyway. But the girls had said to me, like, have you got your speech? I was like, no. Danielle, you need to take this serious.
Yeah.
I said, no, I am taking it serious. I'm so happy and proud, and I really deserve to be here. I'm not going to win. Yeah. Like, you don't know. But I had one or two of the judges come up to me after and have a good chat about the business and how they really, it was a really close call. And
that's the thing, isn't it? It's great to think that you're in a room full of people who probably all deserved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What a room.
At the end of the, like, I know people say, oh, sure, like, it's great to be there. It was great to be nominated. And there's always that thing, it was closer. But I think at that stage, if you've been chosen to be in the room, you were well deserving of it. And so was everybody else in the room. Nobody in that room was undeserving of an award. Like, it's just somebody has to get the name called out,
It better be next year.
We have ChatGPT behind you now.
Your favourite. I know. I don't know whether it's something I'd go for again. Like, she gave me the nudge in Corbelt, and because Emma had won it the year before, and I've done work with Kelly Harrington and that, and Kelly is working close with them, so there was a strong connection there. I felt like it was coming from a very nice place. I was so honoured when she sent me that message. I didn't brush it off as in, I think it was more fear. Like, it was like, if you put yourself out there for something, you know what I mean? Like, just stay in your lane a little bit. So it's been good. It's been really good for the business. Again, it was something that came out of nowhere and has been really good for the business.
Got it up on the window of the business?
No.
Runner-up business.
I don't have a window in Rathmines Glass in the old. You know, in the old place, actually, only one little window.
Only if you knew somebody to put some into it.
My lads wouldn't let me. Are you joking me? I'd be well put down. I'd be well put down. But it was just, I suppose it's progress all the time. But one thing I did feel after the Image Awards was you would very easily, if you weren't aware of it, you could very easily get caught up in the hype. Does that make sense?
I think similar to ourselves, like, it obviously the whirlwind with the podcast in 2024, like, and it's like probably one of the only trade podcasts going at the time, like, so everybody was trying to jump in on it, and then, like, you were getting invited to awards, and you sort of get into that, hamster wheel, like, of it's just taking off here, like, where do we go from next, where's it, what's coming, and then when it sort of all goes back to normal, you're sort of that lull. It's tough to deal with.
Sitting at home with my crown on me the next day.
Who's going to invite me
to something? I have to go and do a sash now.
I need to be invited to something,
I think it's reality. I think it's a bit of a reality check that is all wonderful, and it's great clout, I suppose is the word for it. And it's amazing you've brought it up today, so it's such an honour to be coming to that stage, but also I have to be backing it up, and I'm always aware that you have to be backing up with your work as well. So it could be nice to be liked.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be liked, and it's nice that my clients like me most of the time. But then if you care too much about that end of it, it's not like the be all and end all.
Yeah, and then there's that nice to be liked, because you see a lot of people now online, sort of shunning themselves away from, and we might have done it as well, like with the podcast as well, where we haven't been too outspoken on the likes of, what's going on in the world right now as well, like with the likes of Gaza and everything, like in Palestine.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, you get everybody nearly afraid to say anything because you don't know, like, how your listeners are sitting with, and you don't want to cause a stir with it. Like
that never bothered me.
No, that's what I was going to say. It doesn't seem like it's something that would sort of bother you. And does that come from, like, obviously you mentioned at the start of the interview, like with the journalism at the start of it, you've always wanted to maybe find out what was going on in the world, or tell a story, or tell the truth.
I've always had a big empathy. I always have, but what's gone on for many, many years in Gaza, just as an example, obviously you've got Sudan, you've got so many countries, but Gaza especially has a special place in my heart anyway, Palestinian people in general. But I actually got a lot of people message me when I began to post about that. I'm quite vocal about it. Yeah. How I feel. And I had a lot of people message me. I was quite surprised at the start, voicing their concern, you know, do you think you should be posting that now? You might lose followers. And I was like, I don't need them to be my followers. Now, this all went on in the background. I've never spoken about this on my page.
Yeah.
But there was a bit of a backlash. But I let it breeze off me, because my opinion is if someone unfollows me for that opinion, perfect.
Yeah, it's not
taking
the people,
himself out of the equation, you know. And for me, on a personal level, I can't remember the year, but I was involved. A group of kids came from Gaza. Gaza Action Ireland brought them over. My daughter was only a baby at the time. I can't think of the year. So it was about 8 or 9 years ago. And they reached out to me, Chris Andrews did. And he said, Danielle, you're involved with Shamrock Rovers. We've kids coming over. They're here for 2 weeks. We're doing a football tournament here, there, and everywhere. We'd love to get them like involved in a game or their football. So they're in Gaza, and there's a football academy in Gaza, and we're taking them out for 2 weeks. And we're going to bring them all around Ireland and get them to play football, a bit of respite as well. There's a lot of that going on behind. Would you be interested in helping us out? And I was like, yeah. Now, they were nearly here. I'd done none of the prep work, like Gaza Action Ireland and all that. And so the kids came, met them from the airport, and these like 20 young lads get off the plane. None of them have ever been out of Gaza. And funny, like exactly like every group of lads. And like for them coming from where they were coming from, they're looking around them. What is this?
Different
amazing
world.
Footballers. That natural skill that
like
we were speaking about earlier on, that touch, that playing with your shoes off and not getting so bogged up in technique and strength and condition. No, the natural touch. I remember watching them. These guys are incredible, and what energy. And they had a couple of carers that were with them, adults, and there was one particular lady, she's a journalist, Tagrid, and she was travelling with the group. Her own kids weren't there, they were in Gaza. We got on so well. From day one, we just clicked. So I'd organised for them to come up to the Shamrock Rovers game. Michael D. Higgins was there. Paddy Hullen came. John Connors. So many people came and supported it. They did a lap at the pitch. Unfortunately, 2 of the guys have been murdered in the last year or 2 that were on that particular trip. And Tagrid and I just clicked. She was a mom of 2, living in Gaza. We went for coffee, went for dinner. So the 2 weeks that she was there, we got really close. And she went back to Gaza. We stayed in contact. At Gaza Action Ireland tried to bring them back the following year, and they got as far as the Egyptian border. And even though all the passports were sorted and visas, they didn't get through. So I'd organised the Solidarity Cup. So Linfield were coming down, Cliftonville, Shamrock Rovers, Bows, and the Gaza team. And it was about sport, inclusivity. It was about, and that kind of word gets thrown around, but I firmly believe that sport breaks every single boundary. When you see kids playing a sport together, they see nothing. They don't see colour, religion, race. They don't care. And sport can really break those boundaries. So for Linfield and Cliftonville to agree to come down to this tournament, I was like, Bows and Rovers and El Hilal was the name of the football team. So the Solidarity Cup was my baby. And so much sponsorship, so much support. We were going to have the games up in Bluebell. They didn't come over. Like the day before. It's happened, Palestine Sports, only in the last couple of weeks as well. So a lot of the team were like, we just can't. And I was like, no, we're going ahead with it. In solidarity, this tournament is going ahead even more now than it ever needed to do. So we played the tournament. We had the day, raised a lot of money, represented all the guys that were there, video called them. You know, they were all crying at a border, like not understanding why they couldn't travel. So that's kind of where I've gotten involved in a very personal level. And since, as you're probably aware of, my company, we've done a big. So my friend Tagrid was over at the Chinese Asian Games. So she travelled all over the world covering all the sports. She's on telly in Gaza, quite famous, face. Her brother plays for the international team. And she was in China covering the Asian Games and was on a flight home from China to Cairo on the 7th of October. She's 2 kids, a boy and a girl. And when she got to Cairo, borders were closed. She's one side and her children the other side. Now their dad is there and their auntie, but her mom had actually been getting treatment. So she hasn't seen her kids.
Is she isolated away from her
In
family?
2 years. She hasn't seen them. They're in Gaza. She can't get them out. There was a company that were doing visas if you could pay for them. I know, the Egyptian officials, if you had the money, they could get you a visa to get out. We heard about this, and so I started fundraising. We raised nearly €8,000. It's $3,500 per visa, and then money to look after them and everything else. Every customer, so we made a Palestinian flag stained glass panel. We did it for free. My staff made them for free. We provided all so every single penny from those panels went towards it. But she's a refugee in Cairo.
Yeah.
So the only way I could get the money to her was literally wear it on me. Not illegally, we know those real touristy little Americans love them. The money things that go around. Yeah. So I had to, I went over to her.
You done it yourself?
I done it myself, last May 2024. It's the strangest journey, actually, because her kids had moved from their home had been destroyed, so they were in a camp in El Habar, it's up the north. So every day she didn't know whether her kids were going to be alive the next day. Every day.
You were literally travelling this money in order to try and get her children out of what is literally a prison for them now.
Yeah. And she hasn't seen them in a year at this point. And no one knew what was happening. The borders were opened at this stage. So the week before I was due to fly over, my customers were unreal. I had people dropping into the workshop in Rathmines with envelopes of money, 50 quid, 20 quid, and no names, no nothing. Put that towards that. Just this is where the kindness and the human, helping each other. So I got to Cairo, met her there, where she was living in flat squalor. They're refugees, and borders closed while I was there. The borders closed. I haven't opened since. So I'm happy to report. I actually haven't told anybody this. So all my customers have kept in contact. So I gave her all the money. The money's there, and it's to help when the kids with the borders have to open. So the funds are all still there. But she is now in Spain. So through all different channels, she's able to go to Oman, able to get to Spain, and the Spanish government are looking after her unbelievably. So she's now in Spain. She got there 2 weeks ago. Still waiting on the borders to open, but the Spanish government are looking after her. So I'm going over to her now in a couple of weeks. So it continues. We'll get them out.
But the Spanish seem to be a safe space anyway.
Yeah. She travelled there from Oman, and she handed in her passport at the airport. So she has, they're looking after her. Yeah, the Red Cross, they're amazing in Spain.
I just think for, the future of, our kids and our kids' kids and the humanity of what we want the future of Earth to be like going down the line. Genocide needs to end. 100%. I think it's atrocious and sick and
live.
It's
live. We're actually
watching
it live.
Yeah, it's just in the world we live in now. It's a stone's throw away. Do you know what
I've come across a bit as well, and I've defended myself to a hilt on this because I've come across a little bit of you should look after your own kind of thing. People who don't know me. They obviously don't know me on a personal level. I do an awful lot. I don't even talk about it because I don't need to. If you're doing stuff to constantly talk, that's why even the riot thing I was so cringy about it when it went so viral. But that's not an argument to have about this. It's not one human against another. It's not, well, what about your own? It's this is not the argument, and it shouldn't be the argument. And it has come. I've gotten some really nasty messages. Now, thank God I'm able to just brush them off. But my customers, everyone with Rathmines Glass, the support has just been unbelievable. Like people were driving like from Galway to collect panels and hang them up in their businesses and stuff. It was a really nice initiative. Yeah. So hopefully, look, it's not done yet, but hopefully
Fair play
soon.
to you. I guess we'll try and end on a bit of a
Positive note.
Yeah, well, I think, there is positivity in everything.
Yeah.
And like what you were doing there, like, and putting the message out there in the darkest of moments of people's lives, like the humanity and people have come together. Like
99% of people are really, really good.
Yeah.
And that you see that probably in yourself and kindness and little gestures. And I do want to give my dad a bit of a special mention. Without Pat Tutty, there is no Rathmines Glass.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like I spoke with my granddad, and then we just went off on a tangent. But I think it's really important for me to acknowledge him.
Yeah.
So my dad started it all, kept it going forever and ever and ever. He's the biggest character I've ever met. He's an amazing musician. He's a mad into his music.
Yeah.
Writes music. He writes
yeah.
music, he plays music, he writes songs, he's a musician.
Theme tune going for the...
I know, he'd love that. I need to honour him with that because no matter what is happening today or the last couple of years, what a character.
We usually ask every guest before they leave to add a song to our Spotify playlist. I don't know if you're going to pick maybe your favourite of your dad's, seeing as he's into music, or his favourite of your own, or if you want to put two on it.
He's a big Paul Weller fan, so we've seen Paul Weller all over the world. And
we'll have one for your dad and have one for you then.
Thank you. So I definitely think my dad would pick Changing Man.
Changing Man?
Yeah. My dad loves all music.
Yeah.
Changing Man. I'm a Rolling Stones girl. So Missing You, the Rolling Stones. One of my favourites.
Brilliant. Get both of them on. And
Thank
for
you
anybody
very
who's
much.
looking to avail of your services, where can they find you?
You can find us in Instagram. I am Rathmines Glass. It's just at Rathmines Glass. And we have a website, or always give us a call. Pick up the phone.
Brilliant, Danielle. Thanks
Thank you very much.
joining us.
Thanks.
Woohoo! Class. Right, that's it for season 7, episode 10 in the can. What an episode. What a season. Big thank you to Danielle Tutty for joining me on this episode and sharing her story. And a big shout out to every other guest that we've had across this season. Just want to say a massive thank you to Robust Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company, for their continued support. And also to Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear for backing us on this season. And while Keith couldn't be here for this episode, he's sure to be back for season 8. So make sure you head over to wherever you get your podcast, give us a like and a follow to be notified when the next season drops. Take it easy, everyone.